From the Glenn Campbell Museum in downtown Nashville, it's our host, Keith Burns, with the stories behind the songs.
Well, we were talking about fishing,
Okay.
and this is a strange story. And this is one of my favorite songs. It really has been. And Rodney Atkins recorded this song, but Jamie Johnson sang the demo for me. And he did such a great job on the demo. And I wrote this song with Bobby Terry. You know Bobby?
I know Bobby. Very, very good player.
He's a great guy, man. One of the great writers and great producers in this town. I've talked about fishing. I was out in Montana, and I was fishing out there with some friends of mine that lived out in near Bozeman, in Big Sky. And a friend of theirs owned the fly shop, and he had gotten sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I called John said, well, listen, I'm not going to be able to fish with you as much because I'm running the fly shop until, I can't remember his name, Chuck, and whatever, gets better. And I said, well, that's cool. Do you need any help? And so, because I'd worked as a fishing guide when I was younger. And I went out and I was tying flies and fitting people for waders. And I didn't get to fish as much, but I was having a great time. And the river runs right by the thing, and they have a big, huge pond full of fish. So I got to fish. There's a place I wanted to fish really bad. It's called Austin's Hole. And it's a beautiful long run. And I got up early one morning. I went out there to fish it. And this whole thing happened that became the song. Well, the incident that happened, somebody had gotten there ahead of me. And in fly fishing, you don't encroach upon somebody else's space. You know, it takes a lot of space to throw a fly rod anyway. But anyway, so I wrote a short story about it. I was so impressed with what had happened. I wrote a short story about it, and it got published. And my co-writer, Dave Berg, saw it sitting on the coffee table, and he read it, and he said, dude, that's a hit song. That's a killer song. And I said, how do we write that? And he goes, that's what we do, man. We write songs. We'll do it. So we wrote this song, and when it was over, I couldn't believe it. It was exactly what happened. I mean, word for word. This whole song is a true story. There's not one word of it that's made up. And we didn't change the names of the characters or the fish either. But the cool thing about it was, I fished with a guy that's fairly famous in the fishing world, fly fishing world, named Bob Clouser, who's invented a lot of flies, written a lot of books about it and everything. And we'd fished a bunch of different places, and when they were sitting out on a deck at a fishing lodge, he goes, Sam, we fish together all over the world. And he said, what do you do for a living? And I said, dude, I'm a writer. And he goes, you mean you write books? I said, no, I'm a songwriter. And, they give you that line, have you ever written anything that I'd know?
Right.
And I said, well, I've probably written some stuff that you'd know. But I said, I got this new song that I wrote, and I think you'll love this song. So I'll send it to you. So we split up. I sent it to him, and he was at the Tackle Show in Vegas. And it's a big, huge sports and outdoor show. And he calls me up, and he says, Sam, he said, you got to get on the phone with these people. And I said, what's this? He said, I'm telling you got to get on the phone. Well, it was a group called Project Healing Waters, who takes wounded veterans fishing. And it started at Walter Reed, and they started as an hand coordination stuff to teach amputees fly tying. And then they developed a casting program to give upper body strength for both amputees and for ambulatory people, and for people in a wheelchair. Well, then they taught rod building. So the soldiers all came to him in this holding company, and they said, well, look, you taught us how to tie flies, how to make a fishing rod, how to cast it. Take us fishing.
Right.
So they put together these fishing trips. And it has evolved into an organization with chapters in every state in the United States. Some states have multiple chapters. And it's become a huge award-winning organization. And I got on the phone with the president, and he said, dude, you wrote our whole story. And I said, what do you mean? He says, can we use this in the video? And I said, well, tell me about Project Healing Waters. And they did. And I said, course, I'm in. Where do I show up? And so they put me together with the director, and I put the song to their video, and he actually did the video to my song. And it became such it was chilling, because it's what I've loved my whole life is fly fishing. And here it's with all these wounded veterans, man.
Wow.
Helping these guys, and it's an inspiration to them. Well, I was walking across Demobrian Street a few months later. My phone rang, and I got it out. And can you please hold for the White House? And I'm standing in the middle of Demobrian Street. And I said, what? And I said, could you please hold for the President of the United States? And President Bush had called me. And I had people who were walking with me, and they walked up in the median, and they were going, what's going on? And I was just like, And he said, is this Sam Tate? And I said, yes, Mr. President. He said, you wrote that song, The River Just Knows? And I said, yes, sir, I did. And he said, well, I want you to come to Washington. I want you to come here to the White House, and I want you to play that song for me. I want to meet the man that made me clear the Oval Office for 3 minutes. And he said, that song is amazing, son. And I said, well, thank you, Mr. President. I said, Rodney Atkins just cut it. And he goes, oh, man, bring Rodney with you. He said, we've done a couple of things together. He's a great guy. So he said, you hold on, and my press secretary and we'll make all the arrangements. Don't worry. He said, can you come in the next 3 weeks or so? And I said, well, I'm sure I could arrange my schedule for you, sir. And we did, and we went, and Rodney and I played a command performance for all these. I took a bunch of soldiers from Walter Reed from the Project Healing Waters group, and we got to hang out with President Bush. And
Project Healing Waters.
Project Healing Waters.
And they just get on Facebook.
Yeah,
online?
they're on. They have their own website, but they're on Facebook. It's an amazing group of people, and
Man.
We've done some that Travis was the kid that I told you about that said I've had my moments.
Yeah.
That was a Project Healing Waters trip.
Wow.
And it's just done so much for these cats. And
Amazing.
it's brought a lot of these guys that we have a real problem with PTSD, and we have a real problem with people finding their way back to America, back to this country, because they left so much there.
Yeah.
And the rivers just seem to do that. Fly fishing. I've never met a fly fisherman I didn't like. I never have. They're all happy. A bunch of people, you know, and they're willing to share and help and everything else, and they'll give you their stretch of water and rest, and especially to the vets. And it's really opened up a whole world. And I made some killer friends through this organization.
Well, man, I can't. You got to play it now.
Well, this is a song.
After all that, I got to hear it.
This, by the way, uses the same demolished chord. I call it a demolished. Yeah, this is a Dave Berg chord. It's one of those where he puts his fingers on the guitar, and it just happens.
Okay.
Okay. It was 4 a.m. comes awful early. I was dead on my feet. If you're gonna catch the biggest fish, you gotta lose a little sleep. Packed my lunch, my gear, and a couple beers, and headed for my favorite spot. Cursed my luck when I saw his truck right where I pull off. I was hoping to have the river to myself that day, 'cause the river don't talk, the river don't care where you've been or what you've done, or why it is you're standing there. Just rolls on by, whispering to your soul, it's gonna be alright. The river just knows. The way the sun bounced off the water, couldn't make him out, but I could see he had a fish on. Big old rainbow trout. And the fight went on forever, and they headed down my way. I saw his military haircut, those new scars on his face, And right then I knew what brought him to this place. 'Cause the river don't talk, the river don't care where you've been or what you've done, or why it is you're standing there. Just rolls on by, whispering to your soul, it's gonna be alright. The river just knows. The way put that fish back in the water, he coaxed him back to life. Said I'll help him get his wind back, 'cause he helped me get mine. And all I could think to say was welcome home. But I guess the river said it better on its own. 'Cause the river don't talk, the river don't care where you've been or what you've done, or why it is you're standing there. Just rolls on by, whispering to your soul, it's gonna be alright. The river just knows. The river just knows.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It's my favorite song I think I've ever written, because that's exactly what happened.
Where you know the thing that I really dig about that song, you know, I'm a huge Neil Diamond fan, and Neil Diamond has had this way of saying simple things but covering a whole lot of ground in what was happening, you know, and to me, you know, I'm sure you're a Neil Diamond fan too.
Oh God, yeah.
And
I used to sing his songs when I was younger.
oh yeah, but
I loved it. And the Brother Loves Traveling show is still one of my favorites.
well,
One of the greatest
Try
songs.
singing that.
It's a tough song.
Yeah, that's a tough song.
And
but
it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every verse, man. It's so cool.
well, man,
And what a great story, too.
I got to tell you, man, I really, really appreciate it. This is the first of the segments that we've done. For you to come out and take your time and come out to the Rhinestone stage.
Well,
and do
dude,
this.
for you,
And-
man, we always have a good time.
Well, you know, honestly, we always do.
Yeah.
You know, anytime we've ever done shows together, you know, we always have. But just, is there anywhere people can get your music? And
You know what? At this point, I don't know. I think it is on Amazon.
okay,
I think it's still. I mean, I think it's on Amazon, and it is on iTunes.
but your name is Sam Tate. You can look up Sam Tate.
yeah,
just
and the
find
album
it.
is There's some stuff on YouTube, and the single is on YouTube. I wrote a single called "The Daughter of Bobby McGee,"
Okay,
and there's the album is called "Play It Again, Sam."
Play It Again, Sam.
Yep. And
That's awesome.
It's a bunch of acoustic versions of my hits. Bobby Terry produced it.
Okay.
And played. I got some great players. Really fun thing that we did. And Wanda Vick is on it, and
Very
Swine's
cool.
on it,
Swine.
and Bobby Terry.
Bobby Terry.
And just some cool people played on that thing for me. And we had he did a beautiful record. It was. I'm really proud of it. I just wanted to do this so that my children and grandchildren could have a visual and a audio version of. Yeah, that's what Grandpa did.
He did. He didn't just write hit songs. He
He-
actually sang.
He
and
could actually sing.
He
You know,
can
he
actually
sang them.
do it. So
Yeah, he wasn't no star never, but he did sing.
he
you
wasn't
know?
no star. Well, man, Sam, we appreciate it. Like I said, it's always a pleasure, man. You're always a good
Oh,
dude.
dude, it was
and,
so fun.
Thanks to our guest Sam Tate, a great guy.
Thank you for
great
having me, man.
songwriter, and
This is
always
always
a pleasure.
cool. It's always cool to get out and hang it with another writer anytime.
Absolutely.
I'll talk songwriting with anybody.
I appreciate you, brother. God bless you. We love you. We'll see you next time.